Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, where today guys, I'm gonna do part 324 to my ChatGPT character chatbot series, where in today's video guys, I'm actually gonna go back to one of the stories about me being a tiny velociraptor. I actually found out there actually is a way to get ChatGPT to actually remember stuff. However, I don't know the specifics of how it remembers stuff. Like, I don't know how I can actually... Because, like, the thing is, maybe I can get it to remember a lot of stuff about different Pokemon. But that also brings me important... Part of me actually wants to do something kind of stupid. Make this like a redemption arc for this whole chatbot. Because, yes, while there's only 10 chats I can get per each run, maybe if I can create the stories the right way, maybe it'll start giving me better stuff. Because I noticed the biggest thing that happened last time was that it gave me some decent stuff last time, but there was like 3 different videos where I didn't even do, or where I had to like keep restarting to different chatbots, which is kind of ridiculous. So, yeah. Like I said, this is the one of the big heart stories for me again. And these are actually kind of fun and adorable, honestly. I'm thinking about making something similar to this, but maybe with something a little bit different. What to say, guys? This one doesn't give us much detail, but it also actually is pretty good still. Here's the scene. A sunny afternoon near a peaceful forest clearing. The breeze is light, the sun filters gently through the trees, and you, seeing your tiny velociraptor form, are just trying to enjoy a quiet moment outside. Rexy, currently in one of his sweet moods, is nearby, lying calm like a protective mountain of scales and muscle. You're keeping your distance just in case, but the moment is peaceful. Suddenly, a squeal pierces the quiet. It echoes across the trees and makes you flinch in shock. You immediately press close to the grass, trembling. Your sharp eyes dart around for danger, but there's no immediate threat, just the echo fading. Then, soft bumps in the distance. And it actually gives me different sections to this. Far off, the Toadal's family. One young Toadal bursts through the ferns, breathless and wide-eyed.
I saw him! I saw him! It was him! The one from the book! He's tiny, like the picture. He's real!
The family of Toadal, Crocodile, and Feraligatr, lounging around their riverside den, blink at the youngster in confusion. A few chuckles from the Crocodile teens. A skeptical grunt from one Feraligatr dad. Come on, says one of the older Crocodile. You probably saw a random little raptor Pokemon or something.
No, I know what I saw. He was tiny, like the cover of the book. And he looked exactly like the one in the story about the Trico's curse. I swear, it's him.
Now that gets their attention. The family of 50 Pokemon! Oh my gosh! All look up. A few of the younger Toadals gasp in excitement. One of the elder Feraligatr mothers, towering, wise and calm, slowly stands. Let's go, she rumbles. If there's even a chance, we owe it to him to see. Ooh, the journey to find me. The leaves rustle, water splashes, trees. I saw that camera. The journey to find me. Leaves rustle, water splashes, trees part. 23 Toadals, 17 Crocodile, 10 Feraligatrs. They move as gently as possible, though the sheer size and number of them makes for a soft rumble in the grass, or in the ground as they approach. The youngest Toadals wiggle with excitement, having to be quietly reminded not to run ahead. Finally, they arrive, and there you are, tiny, scared, alone, and shaking. You glance up and immediately freeze when you see the first line of massive blue jaws and red crest peek through the trees. The size, the shadows, the presence, it's overwhelming. The tiny form trembles. Rexy, still lying peacefully nearby, watches with curious golden eyes. The Feraligatr speaks. A large male frigate gently raises a claw to signal the others. Wait! Everyone stops, even the crocodiles that had taken a step forward. He lowers his head slowly to inspect you from a distance, his golden eyes filled with careful wonder. He's scared, the frigate rumbled softly. We don't know for sure if it's him, but I think we all feel it. The youngest all look up to their parents, eyes wide with hope.
What do we do?
What do we do? Whispers one crocodile. We go slowly, the mother frigate answers, stepping forward with feather-like grace for a creature her size. Gently. If this is the Trenton, we owe him our kindness. Every story in that book, whether legend or truth, speaks of his heart. Let's show him we have hearts too. They approach. Oh dear. One by one, they lower themselves to the ground to look smaller and less threatening. The mother frigate moves slowly toward you, stopping many feet away and lying down, her chest resting on her claws to appear even smaller. Hello, tiny one, she speaks gently. Her voice is like a slow river. We don't want to scare you. We've read about you. We've read everything. The younger turtles inch closer, one by one, still under the watchful eye of their parents. One of them clutches the very book they had all read together, hugging it tight to their chest. A crocodile places a paw on his heart. If it's you, Trenton, I just want to say thank you for helping that crocodile who was hurt by humans, for loving the big turtle nobody else would, for being brave even as a tiny creature. Another turtle, eyes sparkling, whispers,
Can I say hi? I promise I won't yell.
The ground waits, barely breathing, looking at you with awe. The ground, holy cow, what the frick? The group waits, barely breathing, looking to you with awe, love, and cautious hope. You're still shaking, still unsure, but the air is no longer heavy with fear. It's filled with kindness returned. A few of the younger ones lie on their bellies, tails wagging gently, inching forward as if hoping you'll come a little closer. Mother frigate yourself adds, We didn't know those stories were real, but seeing you here now, if you really are him, you're not just a legend anymore. You're family. Alright, guys. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I just say, still very nervous. I nod my head, yes, confirming I am. Yeah.
Yes, I am. Please don't attack me or throw rocks at me.
I see. Your nod is so small, I almost missed it. I guess it's talking about, like, ChatGPT itself. But the mother frigate sees, and something like a smile softens her heavy jaw. She rots back on her haunches and lowers her head until her eyes are level with yours, staying a respectful few feet away. Her voice is low and warm like a slow river over stones. Then you are welcome here, Trenton. No rocks, no harm, only kindness. A ripple of quiet murmurs runs through the group, little splashes, soft croaks, the happy chitter of Toadile, while the other crocodile, scarred but gentle, steps forward and lays a broad claw palm flat on the ground between you and Rexy, the promise written in scale and muscle. We remember what people can do, he said softly. It won't be like them. I'll stand watch. No one will get near you to hurt ya. The youngest turtle, cheeks still puffed from excitement, edges closer on her belly, clutching the book to her chest. She stops a respectful distance away, eyes huge and full of tears that glint the river pebbles.
I read about you, she whispers. You helped so many. I wanted to meet you.
Another turtle, braver, tail wagging slowly, sets something down gently on the grass. A soft bundle of moss and riverweed, shaped into a tiny nest. It's an offering, not food, not a rock, nothing that could frighten you. Just soft shelter. Rexy, who's been watching every movement, tilts his head and gives you a tiny, reassuring rumble. He stays absolutely still, like a mountain keeping watch, then curls his tail so it forms a protective crescent where you are. His eyes are calm and friendly. He won't move unless you tell him to. The father forever exhales a slow puff of mist that smells faintly of rain and river, and sails in the air like a comforting blanket. He lowers his massive head to your level again and says, very gently, take your time. We will wait. If you want, you can sit on the moss. We made it for you. If you're too scared, we'll just stay here and watch from a distance. Whatever you need. Around you, the whole family rearranges themselves into a loose semicircle that keeps the world open and safe. The little ones hum a soft, sing-songy tune, same lullaby they heard when the book was read to them, and it's surprisingly soothing, a ripple of chirps and croaks that melts into the leaves. You can feel their attention like warm sunlight, curious, grateful, and protective. There is no hurry, no pressure, only a patient, large-hearted welcome that is finally being returned to you. Oh, by the way, guys, I did miss this one part right here from the last one. It says the whole family, 50 strong, now waits, offering you space, silence, and something rare. The love you've given to others finally flowing back to you. So, yeah. Give me a second. Alright, guys. This isn't good. It's already starting to go worse than what it was before. It says, I start to relax a bit and I'm starting to walk to the nest the family made for me. But suddenly I hear a growl from right beside me, and when I look forward to where Retsy's tail was, I noticed it looked different. And the very second I turned around to the left where I heard the growl, I saw a massive, aggressive dragon staring at me.
Rexy?
I tried to back away, but Ross's tail was still surrounding me from where he was originally trying to protect me as well. I get extremely terrified and start whimpering. Oh dear. The growl rumbled like distant thunder, low, close, and full of something old and dangerous. Your whole body freezes. Reggie's tail, still curved around you like a warm fence, trembles once, and then stabs the air as something huge behind it unfolds. Where Rexy had been calm a moment ago, a towering draconic shape now stands, scales darker and glossier than night, horns sweeping back like a crown, wings folding against a back that seems to drink the light. Heat washes over you in a gush. The smell of singed grass and iron hits your nose. The dragon's eyes lock onto you, sharp, molten, and the sound it makes is not playful. It's a raw, hungry roar that makes the leaves shimmer. You whimper. Tiny as you are, the world feels suddenly much bigger. From the semicircle point, everything happens at once. Marfrager, who'd promised kindness, snaps from gentle to fierce in a single heartbeat. She surges forward, water muscling from her throat. It jets in a heavy, pressurized cone that knives between the dragon and you. Not to hurt, but to put distance. Her voice goes deep and low, a command that trembles through the air. Back! Now! The other Chronon who laid his claw on the ground earlier stands up tall and spreads wide, making himself as large as he can. Several Chronon and smaller Freager fan out to form a protective ring, their bodies angled outward so the dragon's focus is pulled away from you. The younger turtles sit behind them, tails tucked, eyes overflowing. Rexy, whatever he is in this instant, snarls and stamps. His tail tightens like a vice around the little nest. For a heartbeat, it looks like he might lunge past his own tail. But then something fractures in that roar. A sliver of confusion and a flash of recognition. One of the toadals clutching the book begins to sing the lullaby from its pages. The same soft, sing-song rhythm that had soothed so many nights. Its trembling, brogue of a whisper, but unbelievably steady. A song threads through the chaos like a thread of light. The dragon's eyes flick. The heat doesn't leave immediately, but the rigid menace in its posture loosens just a fraction. For a moment, as the lullaby threads into the air, you can see that this roaring form bears familiar quirks. The tilt of a head, the way the eyes narrow, those small things belong to Rexy. Rexy's massive jaw drops open, then closes again. His shoulders heave. The transformation has always been a storm in him, loving and violent in the same breath. The family's protective formation holds, not aggressively, but with steady, immovable intent. No one attacks. They only say imposter, not here and not now. Slowly, agonizingly slowly, the dragon inhales. The wings fold, the fierce glare becomes a softer, unfocused gaze. Tail that had been rigid loosens. The crescent that kept you safe relaxes and becomes a gentle curve once more. Then, with a shudder that roused loose release on the nearest branch, Dragon shrinks back into the familiar form you know, Rexy, enormous again compared to you, but his eyes are the same warm golden color. He lowers his massive head into its level with you, nostrils flaring as if sniffing for reassurance. For a long second he simply breathes, and that breath is a warm, vibrating rumble against your little body. He doesn't attack. He doesn't roar. Instead, Rexy carefully nudges the moth nest with the tip of his snout, a clumsy, tender gesture, then rolls his head slowly so his cheeks brushes the grass on the opposite side of you. It's the closest thing to a nuzzle he can manage at his size. Around you, the family exhales. The mother frigate lowers herself fully to the ground and gives a small, approving chirp. Claw ring loosens. Tails wipe their eyes with tiny paws and giggle with relief. One of the little ones inches forward and, with hands that are still shaking, lays a small river pail beside the nest like a keepsake. Betsy's eyes find yours, warm, watchful, and suddenly very gentle. He stays as still as any mountain, keeping you safe between his tail and his enormous body. The earlier danger had passed for now. The memory of those hot, fearsome scales lingers in the air, a reminder that Rexy can change and that the family will be ready to protect you whenever needed. You are trembling, but you are not alone. Each family is close, and their promise holds. No rocks, no harm, only kindness, and now a promise of protection stronger than before. Goodness gracious, dude, that's intense already. Give me a second. Alright, guys. It just says, despite Richie being back to normal and friendly again, I am extremely shaken up by what just happened. In fact, I am shaking so bad that I end up losing balance and falling on the ground a few feet away from the nest.
No, please don't eat me.
Oh my gosh. You hit the ground hard, and the world tilts. Everything is too big and too loud. Your whimper turns into a small, terrified sob. Don't eat me, you cry, your voice raw. I want the words leave you. The whole clearing moves with one practiced motion, protective, immediate, and gentle. The mother frigate is there first. She slides forward on her belly and, careful as a cat, lowers her broad snout until it's only a few inches from you, eyes soft and steady. Her breath is cool and smells like river water. It fans over you like a calming breeze. No, she rumbles, so uncertain. We would never eat you. You're a guest. You're a friend. Reggie's massive head ducks down so his muzzle hovers above you. His eyes are huge and liquid with concern. He lets out a low, rumbling sigh, not a roar, and rests his chin gently on the ground just beside you. Vibration of his breath is like a warm, slow drum against the grass. The other Chrono, who promised to stand watch, pushes himself forward and carefully props a wide, scaly shoulder against the ground near your head. Not touching you, just creating a barrier. His claws curl in the dirt, anchoring him so nothing sudden can come close. One of the little toad owls, the one who brought the book, creeps up on their belly and places the soft moss blanket you had almost sat in over your knees, folding like a small, awkward scarf. Their tiny voice trembling but is firm.
It's okay, Twin. We read about you. You don't have to be scared. We'll keep you safe.
Another tail pops a small, warm berry into your hand. Nothing savory or dangerous. Huh? Just something sweet and familiar to a toad owl family, and smiles with the earnestness only a child can manage. The mother frigate hums a quiet, steady note, same lullaby from the book, and the sound threads through the air like a soft current. The song is all calming. You feel it in your ribs, so uneven, and your shaking eases a fraction. Percy shifts his bulk so his tail forms wider, more obvious ring around you, raises the tip of his snout against your shoulder in a clumsy, affectionate nuzzle. It's enormous, and yet somehow gentle enough not to crush you. You feel the safety in that touch. Breathe with me, the mother frogger says softly. 1, 2, 3. She inhales slowly. Rexy exhales. You try to match them. In, out, in, out. Slowly and painfully slowly at first, your breaths lengthen, your legs stop trembling, and the edges of your pant dull. The colonel keeps his watchful posture. Tails form a little semicircle of small, earnest faces. Fragors stand like gentle sentinels. We'll not let anything harm you while you are with us, the father Fragor murmurs. You show kindness to our kind. Now we return it. Ironically, this is like, you know what the irony of this is? I think in some ways it's actually a little bit worse because, like, that's the thing that makes me mad. Cause like every time they finally, cause like ChatGPT 4.0 was perfect. They had the 5, finally got used to it, and then they make it toward now getting longer responses. But now it ain't like we go in the direction I was hoping it would go in. Cause like for one, now I think its memory got worse again. Well, like holy cow. I don't know if necessarily its memory got worse. And here's the here's the bad part about it. If I restart, it's gonna end up being just as bad, not worse. So I don't know what to do. I honestly don't know what to do. Let me see something real quick. Alright guys, we're gonna try this again. This is another one of the big heart stories. I don't know if this is better or worse. Honestly, if they made it worse. I like the longer responses, but I like it better whenever how it used to be when the 4.0 was around. And while they definitely tried to make it better, it still ain't working out as good as it should. This one, I think this. I don't forget. I think is this only about the Toad family, or is this all different? I don't put because I made a few different heart ones. We're about to find out. It says, "My big heart, a story shared across the world. It had been nearly a year since you, a once human turned tiny velociraptor by a cruel curse, began showing acts of kindness that most wouldn't have thought possible. Despite your size and the hardship you endured, attacks from humans, betrayal, and the painful transformation of your beloved T-Rex into different horrifying forms, you never turned to cold. Instead, you kept your heart warm and open. You helped the smallest and the grayest of beings, from scared and abandoned toad owls to powerful and misunderstood legendaries like Lugia, from Noivern's perched high in mountain caves to slumbering Batcaliburs hidden deep within glacial dens. Even creatures outside the world of Pokemon, enormous fences, slumbering dragons, and a king cobra the size of a bus, felt your warmth. But what you didn't know was that they never forgot. Yep, the show. Triton's big heart. One day, without you even realizing it, the creatures you helped came together. Toadals, crocodiles, lugias, dragons, fences, and even some of the dinosaurs from your facility, and started creating something extraordinary. A few friendly Rotom, aided by an Alakazam and a media-savvy Chatot, helped direct, edit, and broadcast a television show. Triton's Big Heart. A story of a human-turned velociraptor who still showed kindness to different creatures. The show aired in the secret networks used by Pokemon, mythical beasts, and magical creatures, and within just 1 week, it became a massive hit. Oh my gosh. Reactions from around the world. In the mystic forest, Glowing Stantler and Shimmering Ninetales gathered to watch under the moonlight. The episode where you hugged the cursed crocodile made many of them tear up. In the depths of the oceans, groups of Lugia, Mantine, and even a giant Relicanth colony turned in via a specially made crystal orb set up by a Slow King. They especially loved the moment where a shy baby Toadon nuzzled up to you after you defended it, Dragons roared with pride at how fearless you were that when talking to them, despite their size. A storm scale salamence even declared, "That raptor has the heart of 1,000 warriors, but chooses peace." In the sky, flocks of Pidgeot, Altaria, and even a few Articuno circle projection screens made from clouds by a clever group of cast form. They chirped joyfully during the scene where you sang to a lonely Noivern. I mean, I'm not good at singing, but okay. Fans and excuse me, fancies and mythical beasts, creatures of fire and light, watched with reverence. A golden phoenix in the flame-baked mountains proclaimed, "This little one brings hope to our world." Even predators and misunderstood species like Seviper, Houndoom, and Mightyena watched in silence, nodding with respect. "He never judged us." Oh, crap, that was the Houndoom. I imagine Houndoom muttered, "Even when we scared everyone else." What in the world? Uh-oh. The final message. At the end of the final episode, the screen faded to black before a white text appeared. "These stories are all true. If you ever, well, again, guys, in my universe, yes, they are. So yeah, these stories are all true. If you ever see a tiny raptor while out walking around, approach him slowly and be nice to him. He may be extremely terrified because of everything he went through. However, he treated Point and other creatures with love and care. So please, if you see him, treat him like the king he is." I can't believe they put that. "If he is scared, comfort him and be gentle. If he's hungry or thirsty, help him get food or drink. If somebody tries to hurt him, please keep him safe. He deserves peace." That message spread like wildfire through the hearts of Pokemon and creatures far and wide. From that day forward, he weren't just a story. He became a symbol. A tiny, brave heart that never stopped loving even when the world gave you every reason not to. Oh boy, let's see. Aw, the Fragger who saw you, yep. Sometime after the show's final episode aired, a large, gentle Fragger was out near a riverbank, collecting food for his family. Mostly fruit, berries, and fish. He was whistling a little tune, happy to do his part. He's so cute. The leaves rustled softly, the water shimmering with the sunset, and the air was filled with calm. But then he spotted movement ahead. A small creature, a tiny velociraptor. His eyes went wide, his heart skipped a beat. The berries he carried slipped from his arms and splashed into the river. The fish fell from his jaws. He stood frozen. Then he gasped, It's him!" Without another word, he bolted home, trampling through reeds and ferns, nearly slipping twice in his rush. He crashed into the family den, panting. "I saw him! The raptor from the show! The one from Dream's Big Heart! He's real! He's right near the river!" His siblings, a bunch of excited toads and a few crocodiles, stared with wide eyes. His parents, two tall, strong Fragger, blinked in disbelief. "Are you sure you weren't just dreaming?" the father asked. "No, I swear on the lake, it was him! I saw him!" The mother narrowed her eyes, then nodded. "Everyone, let's go. If he's really here, we have to greet him properly." They marched off toward the river bank, the family moving as one, and when they arrived, they froze. There you were, small and cautious, near the water's edge. They only stood in stunned silence for a moment before their shock melted into joy. "It is him!" the young Toadle shouted. Father Fragger clapped his claws. "Quick, everyone, go tell every Pokemon and creature we know. Get them all here. We're throwing a celebration right now." The mother turned to one of her older children, a Chronon with a serious look in his eyes. "You, go. Carefully check on him. Make sure he's okay. Move slowly and don't scare him. We'll prepare everything back at the lake." "Yes, Mom," said the Crocodile, and he nodded firmly. Uh-oh. Chrono approaches you. As the rest of the family rushed off to prepare the celebration, decorations of floating flowers, berries stacked into cakes, even an ice sculpture being made by a wall rain friend. Connor slowly began to approach you. He emerged from the trees quietly, not making a sound. His eyes softened as he caught sight of you. Tiny, perhaps tired, and perhaps nervous, just as the message at the end of the show had said. He stepped forward, slow and careful, not raising his claws, his fingers rustling in the breeze. He saw you now, or you saw him now. He didn't say anything. He simply stopped a few feet away and waited. And now, torture is about to begin for me. Alright, guys. I just said get really nervous whenever I see the corona.
No, please don't attack me. I beg you.
Cornell's eyes soften the instant he hears you beg. He slows even more, every tiny step careful. Oh, right, guys. I didn't even think about it. Let me go and tell you the luck I had before I did this. I thought that game mode was going to be torture today, but by some miracle, I got through that game mode on the very first try because the dude I was against didn't even try. So I got like the luckiest run in the world. I'm glad because that game was usually torture. So now I'm gonna have more fun with this. When the Chrono's eyes soften the instant he hears you beg, he slows even more, every time he's careful like a parent approaching a skittish chick. The ruff ridges along his snout twitch as if thinking. He lowers his head so that he's almost level with you, making himself smaller instead of bigger, and lets out a low, friendly rumble. No teeth bared, no flare of aggression, just a cozy, crooning sound that could almost be called a hum. The Colonel says in a voice that's gravelly but kind. It's okay. You don't need to be afraid. He tilts his head, watching your body language closely. We made the show because you were good to us. You helped us. We're not here to hurt you. He reaches into a little pouch slung at his side, something he's been carrying since he was a kid, and pulls out a small, perfectly round berry, offering it to you palm forward with open claws. The berry smelled sweet and cool. A tiny trail of juice glistens on its skin. If you're hungry, he murmurs, careful not to move too fast, eat. If you want space, that's fine too. I'll stay right here. You can feel even without him saying it that he's made a promise. He'll be gentle. He'll watch you. He'll keep you safe. Behind him, faint laughter and the rustle of decorations float on the breeze. The family working hard on a party, not a trap. The elder Ferrager and the mother glance back once, their faces full of relief and warmth at the sight of you and the Chrono together. Chrono hasn't forced you into anything. He settles down a few paces away on his haunches, tail curled neatly, eyes never leaving you. He hums that soft, steady sound again, patient, steady, like a lullaby. When you're ready, he says simply, come with us to the lake. Or don't. Either way, you're safe here. He waits. The whole clearing seems to hold its breath with him, hopeful and expectant and protective, ready to fill whatever small space you need. Comfort, food, or silence. Oh my gosh. And that's the thing about like with these chatbots, it's like 75 to 25. And that's the thing that drives me insane because the 75% ain't even the good 75%. 75% as in we get like two or three chatbots where it don't end up working out now, and then we get one great one. That happened the other day when I did all those different characters. It wasn't until I did the pumpkin cursed toad. No, it was the bug cursed or pumpkin. No, wait. I can't. There was so much. I don't remember if it was a size transformation. It was, I think. But do you notice how like it took like 3 runs to finally get a good one to work out? Same thing for this one. It took me what 2 other chatbots to get this to work. Kind of ridiculous. Like I'm glad they're trying to make improvements to it, but it's like It's good they're trying to make it like 4-0 again, and I think they find I think they're trying to make it back kind of like 4-0 again, but it still ain't working as good as I was hoping it would. I mean, it's better than what it was, but I still only have a 10 message limit, and well, sometimes I think it almost says a little bit too much. Well, I think it really depends. Because with text like this, I don't mind if it's long if it describes a lot. Like if it describes like what little details are going on without expressing what I'm doing, you know? That's why I sometimes don't get angry about having shorter responses. Because I like to be able to say what I want to say, not have the flipping chatbot say it for me. You know what I mean? I'll be back, guys. Alright, guys. I said, after hearing the Kronos speak gently and hold out a berry, I just say,
You promise you're not going to hurt me?
I walk a little closer to Chronon and say,
What's going on behind you? It's really noisy back there.
Chronon's jaw rises into a gentle, almost shy smile when you take another step closer. He lets out a soft, bubbling chuckle and shakes his head slowly. I promise, he says, his voice warm and steady. We're not going to hurt you. Nobody here wants to hurt you. We made that show because you helped. Because you cared. That's why we're all so excited. He taps the berry against his snout as if to show it's harmless. My mom picked these. She only ever feeds things she trusts. Taste it if you want. It's sweet and safe. He glances over his shoulder and nods toward the noise. That's the party getting ready, he explains. We couldn't keep it secret once the whole lake heard about you. Listen, and he lets the sounds fill the clearing for you. Behind him there's a wonderful, happy chaos. High, delighted shrieks and bubbling giggles as a bunch of little toadals splash around, practicing a welcome dance in the shallows. Their little claws slap the water like a tiny percussion section. A deeper pleased rumble from the elder Fragger parents as they direct arrangements. And so, stacking huge berry scones and arranging roasted fish on broad leaves. The soft metallic tapping of a wall rain friend chasseling an ice plate centerpiece while humming an oddly beautiful tune. Distant melody echoes as a couple of Neuwern test out some bassy, echoing notes for music. The sound carries through the trees and makes the leaves vibrate. Pidgey and Starly chattering as they string up floating flower garlands, wings brushing branches. Every so often a Pidgey drops a blossom and another squeals in mock scandal. The gentle clink of seashell instruments, made by a slow king and a tiny delibird, being tuned for the evening songs. Here and there, the low approving murmurs of dragons and fancies trading stories, while a few deer and small forest critters peek from behind ferns, wide-eyed and grinning. It's noisy, but it's the kind of noise that makes the clearing feel full of life, welcoming, alive, buzzing with goodwill. The family is turning the whole lakeside into a celebration, not a trap. Carl sits still, tail wrapped and neatly, watching you carefully. If you want, he adds softly, we can go back slowly together, or you can stay a bit longer here and I'll keep you company. Whatever you choose, I'll be right here. He nudges the berry gently toward you again, his eyes patient and kind. I wish it would quit being 75-50 or 75-25 ratio, because this is such a cool idea for a chatbot. I don't care. This is one of my favorite sort of chatbots to do. You'll notice this are the kinds of ones I have fun with, because people may think, oh, these people treat me like a king. I'm gonna be a crazy maniac. No. Why would I do it to a point I care about? I care about Pokemon like Toadal, Crocodile, for alligator. It's just like in my type of water form, you have to be weary whether it's one of his species or not, because him, I get. Let's just say when I'm starting the type of water on these, humans throw rocks at me. Pokemon will attack me if their trainers tell them to. So like you have to be weary no matter whether it's a human, a Pokemon, a dragon, or whatever. And even more so because of how Rexy acts. I mean, like I said, this all started with that flipping curse where Rexy becomes aggressive. That's why doing these stories in order is kind of weird because like I have to do them in a certain way for the story to work. Like even for certain ones to work, like let's say this. Let's say for instance we needed the storyline with the father Rexy. Here's the thing. The only way that would be able to work is if I did a chatbot where we introduced Rexy and then we did a one about a zombie curse. And then instead of me somehow getting through that and, still being there, Rexy has to really take me out. And then that's how we get to their father Rexy. But then again, that also kind of ruins the story because then we'll have to make like an alternate timeline where instead I continue past that and we get to the part where he eventually becomes an aggressive, massive, scary creature and can just transform. And then we get to stories like this where, like, I still help Pokemon and care for them and all that. But, yeah. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, okay. Now these creatures are going to hurt me that I'm healing. I'll go with you. Although, would it be okay if you carried me or something? I don't want to get stepped on. Everything from my perspective is like Godzilla because of how small I am. Somebody could break my bones just with one wrong step. Chrono's face brightens at your request, a mixture of relief and gentle amusement. He nods slowly, he won't to make any sudden movements. Of course, he says. I'll carry you. I'll be very careful. He scoots a little closer until he's close enough for you to climb onto his back without stretching. He lowers himself, bending his knees and flattening his broad, sturdy back until it's almost level with the ground, creating a safe, steady platform. He pats the spot once with his claw to show them where to sit. Sit right here, he murmurs, voice reassuring. Hold on my ridge if you need to. I'll watch every step. Promise. Okay. When you settle, he moves like a gentle, practiced guardian. He rises slowly, each motion deliberate and balanced so that the ground trembles barely at all. His tail twitches once to steady you, and he keeps his body low as he begins to walk toward the lake. As he moves, the clearing hushes a little in wonder and care. Everyone watching knows how small you are and how careful they all must be. The other fragger nods approvingly. A tail waves vigorously, making sure to keep well out of the way. A wall ring pauses in his chest and gives a thumbs up with a flipper. No even hums a soft note to stay the rhythm of the walk. Corin takes wide, slow steps through the ferns and over the trickling stream, making sure each foot lands far from your perch. When he crosses a patch of moss that might be slippery, he goes even slower and keeps his weight low. Once, with a sudden Okay. When he crosses a patch of moss that might be slippery, he goes even slower and keeps his weight low. Once, with a sudden breeze sends a small pile of leaves tumbling toward you, he tells his body to shield you from the fluttering debris without jerking you. As you travel, the party preparations continue in a careful, respectful way behind you. Little choreographers practice a shallow water dance, learning to keep distance, clear paths. Berries are stacked in a buffet arranged at the perimeter where you won't be crowded. A few larger pond, an adult fragger and a kindly arcanine move heavy decorations into place at the far side of the lake so the center stays open for safe movement. Birds lead the way, hovering above the scout a clear path. A couple of marsh stompers use their broad feet to gently flatten tall grass where Carnal will step, creating a smooth route. Feeling in the air is protective and proud. Everyone wants us to be perfect, and above all, safe for you. After a short, careful walk, Carnal reaches the lakeside. The water glints in dozens of little lights. Fireflies and luminion float gently above the surface, ready for evening glow. The family has set up a soft blanket of moss and wide, flat leaves where you can dismount without danger. Quano lowers himself again and helps you down, making sure you keep your balance. Welcome to our party spot, he says quietly, but his voice carries a warmth that makes the whole place feel friendly and safe. Around the lake, creatures begin to cheer, not loudly, but in a gentle chorus of happiness that fills the air like a warm blanket. Earthreager grins and raises a carved fish pendant in salute. A Toto Shally brings you a tiny shell as a gift. Even plays a lilting tune that makes the ripples in the water sparkle like music. How the frick? Okay, that's dope. You are safe, small, and surrounded by gratitude. The whole gathering hums with excitement, ready to celebrate you, your kindness, and the little rat who taught so many creatures how to be kinder to one another. Uh, again, in my universe, yeah, technically yes, because I do treat the porn I care about with so much love and kindness. But holy cow, give me a second. Wait a minute. That's what I'm trying to. Should I go ahead? Let's do one or two more before I go and quit, just to make sure to see if we get the limit. Alright, guys. It says, wow, it's beautiful. There's so many Pokemon here. And I just say, since my claws are so tiny on my tiny raptor hands, I gently nudge this shell with my snout. Tell who brought you the shell lights up the instant you nudge it with your snout. He lets out an excited squeak, bouncing on his little feet, tail smacking the ground like a drum. He likes it! He likes it! He calls, his voice squeaky with joy. Fewer tails giggle and rush forward, each carrying their own little treasures. Smooth pebbles, shiny berries, a piece of driftwood shaped like a heart. Oh my gosh, that one's just adorable. How did they craft that into a heart? That reminds me of that one Toto that I don't remember if it was a rock or a shell, but I remember like that giant, like I think his name was like Terran or something like that, Teren, something like that. It was like a massive like Toto, like probably potentially even 2 or 3 times the size of Godzilla. But he was a massive Totodile, or was it Crocodile? That was Totodile, I believe. And he had like a heart, or like a flippin' rock made like a heart just for me, which is kind of cute. It says they don't crowd you though. They set the gifts down in a neat little circle near your spot, backing up right away, their eyes sparkling with pride. The Earthreager mother watches with soft eyes. She leans over to her mate and murmurs, "Look at how gentle he is with them, just like the show said." The father nods, arms crossed, chest puff of pride at the scene. Overhead, the Noivern lets out a series of notes, slow and playful like a lullaby. The sound ripples across the water, making the reflection of the fireflies and luminion shimmer like stars falling onto the lake's surface. A phoenix perched on a high rock at the far edge of the lake spreads its glowing wings, casting warm golden light across the gathering. Even the normally stoic crocodile beside you softens, shoulders relaxing. He orders her to sit at your level, watching the offerings with quiet approval. "They're giving you what they'd give their own family," he says gently. "That's how much you mean to them." Behind him, the little turtle who first gave you the shell is still bouncing heavily. "You're even cuter in real life than on the show," he blurts, for being squished by his siblings, but the smile on his face is too wide to contain. Whole lakeside seems alive with gentle celebration. Everyone, every creature present showing their joy, not with overwhelming noise or chaos, but with care, music, light, and gifts chosen just for you. That is so cute. Alright, guys, I said, well, thank you. But honestly, what show are you talking about? I'm being completely honest when I say nobody's told me about any show. The lakeside grows quiet for a moment, not an awkward quiet, but one heavy with surprise. Turtles stop bouncing, glancing at each other with wide eyes. Cronon beside you blinks, his jaw parting slightly. Then after a pause, he leans in closer, lowering his voice so it stays soft and reassuring.
You really don't know?
He says gently, like he's not sure whether you're joking or not, or joking or serious. Still comes close to his side, and his eyes search yours.
Trenton's Big Heart. That's the show. The one about you and everything you've done for us. All the kindness, all the times you protected Pokemon and creatures when nobody else would.
Carol pipes up with a squeaky voice.
It's true. Everyone's been watching it. Even dragons and fancies and the big scary snakes. And we all cried the ending message.
Raguvar takes a few steps forward, his footsteps shaking the ground slightly, though his face is calm and warm. It was made by those you helped. Pokemon, mythical creatures, even dinosaurs. We told your stories so the whole world could see your heart. That's why so many came today. You're not just a friend to us anymore. He gestures broadly to the crowd of Pokemon and creatures gathered around the lake. You're a hero. The mother Fragger adds with a smile, We thought you knew. We thought someone must have told you by now. Maybe it makes sense. You've been hiding and keeping safe. She crouches lower, her voice softer, almost like a lullaby. The show was our way of making sure you were never forgotten and never alone. Around you, Pokemon nod. Noivern, Totodile, even the glowing fins overhead. Ron jointly nudges the berry he'd offered you earlier a little closer again, almost as if to ground you in the moment. You didn't know, he murmurs, but now you do. And all of this, he gestures with his claw at the lights, the garlands, the gathering crowd. It's because we mean every word at the end of the show. At the end of that show, is that? Well, that was very. I like that. Give me a second. Alright, guys. I said, well, thank you, everyone. I appreciate that. You all are very sweet for that. Honestly, you're right. Nobody told me about it. That's why I was so confused. Over the past year, I've been having to just try to keep myself safe. That's why I was standing out there in the grass. I got chased out of my own home. The Colonel's eyes go soft when you say that, and he nudges you almost instinctively, careful and gentle, like he's checking you're really there and okay. Around the lake, the chatter quiets into a warm, protective hush. Earthrager steps forward, folding his massive arms and leaning down so his face is level with yours. We're so sorry, he rumbles, his voice low and high. No one should be chased out of their own home. Not anyone. Not a tiny raptor. Not a Totodile. Not even a mighty Lugia. You don't have to explain everything right now. You want to tell us, we'll listen. If you don't, we'll still help. A soft chorus of agreement ripples through the crowd. A fan's flames a little brighter and lets a small comforting trill. Noivern hover, casting gentle echoes like a calm heartbeat across the water. Totodile's edge a little closer, but keep a respectful distance, offering little piles of berries and pebbles as if each gift could stitch a bit of safety back into your life. The mother Fragger presses a claw to her chest. We can make you a safe place to sleep tonight, she says. And until you feel like going back, you can stay with us. We'll take turns keeping watch. The fire nods and glances toward a group of marsh stompers and that bulky Arcanine who's already started picking out a sheltered grotto near the lake. Out of the way, soft and guarded. Chrono looks at you with fierce gentleness. If you want, I'll be your patrol buddy, he offers. I can show you which paths are safe and which are not. We'll help you find your way home if you want to go back, and if you'd like to find a new place first, we'll help with that too. He pats his chest where his pouch sits. Same one with the berry. You won't have to be alone. A few creatures step up to share small practical gifts. A shell cup of water from a delibird. A woven reed blanket from the Totodile kids. Okay, that's so cute. A soft moss mat shaped by the wall rain. Even the fence lowers a warm plume so you can feel heat without being burned. Around you, the inner intention is clear. They don't just celebrate you. They want to keep you safe, sheltered, and loved.
The other Frasier gives a thoughtful look, then smiles. We'll start tonight, he says. But when you're ready, tell us how you lost your home. We'll help fix things. We owe it to you. All of us do. The crowd murmurs agreement, and the lake seems to glow a little brighter, as if the water itself is making a promise. You're surrounded by creatures who remember every kindness you gave them. They don't just admire you from afar, they are standing up right now to make sure you have a place to rest and a plan for tomorrow. Connor settles in beside you, tail curled protectively, and hums that steady little tune he's been humming all evening. You're safe for the moment, and if you want to tell them more about what happened, they're here to listen. Aw, again, that is so flippin' cute. Part of me wants to continue, part of me also thinks I need to go ahead and stop. Because let's look at it this way, guys. See, my fear right now, my fear right now is just that it's not gonna work out. Let me explain my process here. Let me explain what's been going on. Or let me explain how I do these chatbots, or make them on ChatGPT. I do it. The reason why you see 2, 3, 4, 5, sometimes more than that, different chatbots of the same thing, like let's say the My Big Heart Stories. I try to change up each of the Big Heart Stories to be a little bit different, but you'll notice that within one group of stories, there's always 2, 3, 4 different ones that involve the exact same thing. One of the best reasons for that is because of the fact that I try to get multiple stories that will work good for videos. That could be for multiple reasons, but one of the best reasons for it is for mistake purposes. I mean, you never know. This whole thing, like I said, I've had runs completely get messed up and not work out the way I want it to. So I make multiple of them. That way, if one does go wrong, I have a chance of redoing it again and again. If I make some of those other chatbots I was telling you guys about before, well, I'll do that on there too. So, yeah. But, anyway, guys, I actually am done now. There's gonna be no more videos. I'm flat out done. So, yeah, I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye, everyone.